I have said this many times in my other videos because it's easily one of the best ways to describe it. That's why I keep using it. But if the benefits of exercise could be put in a pill, it would be the single greatest blockbuster medication of all time. It's that good for you. But what if, for some reason, you can't work out? Maybe you're injured or your mobility is very limited. Are you just bound to gain a ton of weight? Not if you follow the tips that I'm about to give you. And as always, we're gonna come at it from different angles because there are levels to this. These are the exact same tips that I give to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. So you know it works. Before we get started, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. All right, let's dive in. If you follow my personal account on Instagram, you're gonna see that I'm hanging out in Playa del Carmen, Mexico right now. My gym is literally on the beach, so I'm there every day, usually doing something active. It's either I'm doing Muay Thai or CrossFit. But for about a couple of weeks, it was just crickets, right? I wasn't really posting anything. It's because I injured my calf from Muay Thai. I was just doing my thing, I landed on my leg, and I felt a pop. If you've ever injured yourself, anything that involves feeling a pop is usually bad news. I immediately knew something was wrong because my left leg all of a sudden wasn't working anymore. I was in a lot of pain. I literally couldn't put any weight on it. Now that I'm pretty close to being back to full health and just doing my thing again, I can now make this video for you. But for a few days after my calf injury happened, I was very limited to even how much walking I could do. It's very hard to walk on one leg. And the first couple of days was the worst. I basically had to drag my injured leg with my foot turned sideways so I don't put any pressure on it, because if I did, it immediately resulted in excruciating pain. I was also limited to just upper body work at the gym. So no Muay Thai, which is what I do for cardio, only upper body resistance training, which is also very limited, and not a whole lot of steps. The good thing is it wasn't my first rodeo when it comes to dealing with injury. A few years ago, when I was a competitive weightlifter, I broke my back from training. That one sucked. I would not recommend it to anyone, not even my worst enemy. I was basically bedridden for a couple of weeks, and I was limited to just occasional movement around the house for about a month. The biggest issue for me whenever these occasional injuries happen is that I love working out. If you Google gym rat, you'd probably see a picture of me. I love it. It makes me feel amazing. My day feels incomplete if I don't do some form of exercise. If you're somebody who regularly works out, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. So having that get taken away from me over the years definitely gave me a little bit of identity crisis during those times. I definitely didn't feel as good because I wasn't as active, but my body definitely needed that inactivity for that injured area to be able to repair itself. And because I've gone through that time when I broke my back, no part of me was worried about getting fat from not being able to do my regular exercise routine when I injured my calf. But I went from training from 6 days a week to 0 days a week, and basically just doing the bare minimum when it comes to movement. For a lot of people, if they approach this the wrong way, it's very easy to gain weight. Thankfully, because I have some experience, I know how to deal with minor setbacks like a calf injury. It's peanuts compared to breaking my back, I'll tell you that much. 2 weeks? No problem. I didn't gain weight. In fact, I lost weight. And I'm gonna give you some ninja tips how in a second here. And again, we're gonna come at it from different angles because there are levels to this. That's probably one of my favorite things to say. When I'm on my usual schedule of training 6 days a week, I usually also eat the same amount of calories every day because I'm a monostructural eater, meaning I basically eat the same food every day. And I love it. I'm a big fan of keeping things simple. I'm also the world's laziest cook. Then once a week, I'll have a treat. You can bet that I'm on a calorie surplus whenever I have these treat days. They're the best. So I only track my calories basically once every quarter. And I usually just do it to make sure I'm getting enough protein and that my carb intake reflects my goals. So I know how much I'm eating. I eat mostly the same food every day. I enjoy it. I'm on point. And I maintain a physique I'm happy with. I feel good inside and out. I never feel deprived when it comes to my diet. And I'm happy with how my body looks. It's a great setup. That should be the goal for everyone. You enjoy your diet and you love your body. So when exercise got taken out temporarily, because I've built up this routine, I was able to eat intuitively. And because I'm at a point where I'm happy with my physique, my aesthetic goal, if you will, was just to maintain. And if you're injured, thinking about your aesthetic goals should be the least of your concerns. You should focus on recovery and getting healthy first. Think of it as a spectrum. One side is fitness, the other side is sickness. So when you're in peak physical shape, you're on the fitness side. When you're injured, you're on the sickness side. Your goal then should be to work your way towards neutral, towards health, then all the way back to fitness. So I didn't really feel the need to start from scratch and recalculate my calories when I got injured because I knew that if I ate intuitively and not eat like a butt, I would just maintain weight. I've also built a good relationship with myself over the years, especially when it comes to food. I don't use it as a crutch anymore. I'm not an emotional eater. I don't use it as a form of entertainment, and I don't mind mindlessly snack. I eat when I'm hungry. I don't eat when I'm not hungry. I also know when to stop eating because I'm full. I don't feel the need to finish my plate every single time. And that's huge because my family didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up. I was always told to finish my plate because you didn't want anything to go to waste. So for a while, I had a scarcity mindset, especially towards food. I had to put in a lot of work to develop an abundance mindset. So if I use the tools that I've acquired, my weight will stay the same. The biggest thing that I made a point of doing though is making sure I was still eating enough protein. And that's the beauty of learning how to eat intuitively and why I think it should be the goal for everyone. Because you don't want to be tracking calories every day for the rest of your life. It's just not practical. It's not something that you want to do when you're 60. Tracking calories can be an amazing tool because you can't control what you can't measure. Everyone should track their calories when they're just starting out, and then you build your diet around that until you can learn how to eat intuitively. Thankfully, when I got injured, my training was still based mostly on resistance training. What it's done over the years is build a solid muscle base on me. I've got some muscles. I've got some traps, some decent sized quads, glutes, and calves. But they're not just for show. They've also sped up my metabolism as a byproduct. So even if I can't work out, I still have my muscles. It continues to burn calories even when I'm not my usual active self. Because muscle is a very energy expensive tissue to build and maintain. The more muscle you have, the more energy your body has to burn throughout the day just to maintain that muscle. The more you get to eat. And because I put in the work to build a solid muscle base, when I injured my calf or broke my back, I still had my muscles working for me. They're still burning calories. These need to be fed, which means I can eat quite a bit more than I would if I hadn't built as much muscle. Again, this is why I always advocate for resistance training over pure cardio when it comes to fat loss. And if you're a female who's watching this and you want to achieve that tight and toned look, you need to put on some muscle on your frame. Don't be scared to lift weights. Strong is the new sexy. And if you're worried about losing muscle because you can't work out temporarily, don't be. It's very hard to put on muscle. It takes months, if not years, of hard work and dedication to put on some solid lean muscle mass, which means that it's also very hard to lose it. You're not just gonna waste away. I can't remember the expert who said this, but according to him, you can be out from working out for up to a month, but as long as you eat enough protein, you don't have to worry about atrophy. Now, there are 4 pillars of health: getting adequate and quality sleep, proper diet, exercise and general movement, and managing stress. They all need to work together in unison. And because you're taking out one of them, or you're limited to what you can do, it becomes even more imperative that you stay on point with the other 3. So let's quickly address what you can do here. Let's talk about sleep. According to Dr. Walker from his book Why We Sleep, insufficient sleep, roughly defined as less than 7 hours per night, moves every health metric in the wrong direction. It increases insulin resistance, it increases next day hunger, and reduces feelings of fullness after eating. It drives more food consumption and worse food choices. It raises blood pressure and significantly increases the risk of a heart attack. It compromises the immune system. It negatively impacts emotion and mood. It raises the risk of depression and anxiety and other bad things, all from getting less than 7 hours of sleep. So this was pretty simple. You need to prioritize getting adequate and quality sleep every night, whether you're injured or not. I love it when Mindy Kaling said, "There is no sunrise so beautiful that it's worth waking me up to see it." I feel the exact same way. Let's talk about your diet. You shouldn't eat like a butt when you're healthy to begin with, but it becomes imperative that your diet be on point when you can't work out. 80% of your body composition, assuming that you get good sleep, is determined by your diet. And I have other videos that dives into this in further detail, but let me just give you some rapid fire tips. Number 1, eat whole, mostly unprocessed, single ingredient, nutrient dense foods. We're talking eggs, steak, fish, bacon, avocado, berries, and the likes. Keep it simple. Number 2, prioritize protein. The amino acids in protein becomes the building blocks your body uses to build itself from within. It's crucial that you eat enough of it. This is how you maintain muscle. You should aim to eat 0.7 grams per pound of lean body mass. Number 3, no liquid calories. What you stop eating has far more impact to your health than what you start eating. Or for this instance, stop drinking. Because liquid calories have 0 redeeming qualities to them. Regularly drinking this stuff is like pouring gasoline on an already aggressive fire. They just make you fat and sick. Stop drinking them. If you regularly drink this stuff and you stop, your life will drastically change. Number 4, drastically reduce your intake of added sugar, artificial sweeteners, and refined grains. So no Diet Coke, don't put artificial sweeteners in your coffee, try not to eat so much bread, rice, and pasta every day. Basically, don't eat like a butt. Think about it. When you're injured, what you put in your body becomes the raw materials your body will use to rebuild itself. Do you really want to be made out of Captain Crunch and Doritos? Number 5, do intermittent fasting. Again, I talk about this ad nauseum on my channel, channel, so make sure to check out all my other videos about it. It's basically the cheat code to fat loss and improving your health. And lastly, manage stress. This is the one that can make or break your outcome. I am such a big believer these days that mental health is true wealth. It becomes even more crucial that you take care of it when you can't work out. The biggest thing you have to remember if you're injured is just know that it's temporary. Unless something permanent happens to you, then that's a completely different topic for another video. But a lot of times, people really get down on themselves when they can't work out. It's very easy to just have a pity party. Again, this is where that identity crisis comes in. Just know that things happen for you, not to you. Listen to that line again if you have to. It's true when they say that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. So if there's something that you've been putting off, now is the time to do it. You've got time on your hands. Also, be very careful with your words. The mind and body connection is unbelievably powerful. Instead of always telling people that you're injured, say that you're healing. Long story short, the secret for how to stay lean with basically no exercise and very little movement is to have put in the years of hard work and have built a solid muscular foundation that'll continue to work for you and burn calories even without exercise. But also to have put in the work to have a good relationship with yourself, especially when it comes to food. You've learned how to eat intuitively and give your body what it needs and not use food as a crutch to make yourself feel better. Don't reward yourself with food. You're not a dog. Having said all of that, just because you can stay lean without exercise doesn't mean that that should be the goal. It shouldn't be your status quo. The goal should always be to do what's best for your body. Part of achieving optimal health is working out. It's really good for you, regardless of whatever your aesthetic goals are. So if you can work out, you should do it. I had major FOMO when I couldn't do what I love for a couple of weeks. I almost wanted to cry when I got through my first Muay Thai class since injuring my calf. So if you're injured, do what you can. Again, there are levels to this. The goal, if you can, is to work around it without the risk of hurting yourself even more. Be smart about this. If you have any upper body injury, like your hand or your shoulder, that's probably the best case scenario because you can still do almost everything. You can still squat, which is the king of all exercises. Best of all, you can still walk and stay active. If you have a lower body injury, like what I just had, it gets a little bit tricky. Like I still had to go out the day I injured myself to get food. I didn't want to ask for help. I'm almost too stubborn for my own good sometimes. So I still went out, but I was very slow and I was literally dragging my injured leg. It was not pretty, but I still did it. I can't be the only one who starts to feel anxious being cooped up for hours at a time. I need to move. I still went to the gym even though I was very limited to what I could do because my community was there. That's another very important thing, by the way. You want to have good people around you. Surround yourself with people that'll lift your spirits. When I broke my back, that was a different story because I spent 90% of my time in bed for a couple of weeks. But again, if you can, try to work around it. Don't feel bad for yourself. Always try to look for the silver lining. Again, things happen for you, not to you. If it happened, it was supposed to happen. That's honestly probably the fastest way to get over something horrible happening to you. Your job is to find the lesson behind it. Life is trying to teach you something. Just remember that it is an absolute privilege to move your body. You don't really realize it until it gets taken away from you. When I was literally dragging my leg for a couple of days, I couldn't help but think what an absolute privilege it is just to be able to walk like a normal human being. So if you're an able-bodied human being watching this right now, do me a favor after watching this video, move. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I was finally able to get rid of all my unwanted body fat without depriving myself of my favorite foods or spending countless hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. Hey, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week, and feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Virtual high five.